Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron,
I'm Ben.
and we are very excited to be joined today by Beverly Randolph. Beverly, welcome.
Yeah,
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
amazing.
this is going to be so much fun. Yes, you're welcome. So, you are an actress, a producer, a writer. Horror fans will recognize you as Tina in the original Return of the Living Dead. So, we have a lot of questions for you about that. But before we get to it, you are also I've got a few movies here that I wanted to run through: Freaks of Nature, The
Yeah,
Searching, Shriek Show, Caesar and Otto's Paranormal Halloween, Death
yeah,
House, and No Solicitors, to name a few. And you've
yeah,
got a few exciting upcoming projects. One is Sacred Grounds Forbidden, and I
yeah.
understand possibly a new Return of the Living Dead film. So if we have time, maybe we can ask you about that.
Yeah, Trash's Revenge. It's all about Linnea. It's going to be great. I'm excited about that one. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, we can't wait to hear more. And with that, Ben, I'll turn it over to you to ask the first question.
Um, I would usually start with how did you get involved with all this? But I've got to ask first, did you expect this film to ever be as big and as iconic as it is?
No, every time we go and do a Q&A or an interview, that question comes up and we are blown away by it. We are shocked and we are honored and we understand that it's a unique thing and that it's a very special thing to still have this movie turn over every generation like it does and keep it
Mhm.
alive. It's pretty wild, pretty crazy to us. It's not lost on us. We're pretty honored by it.
Well, and that's a great question to kick it off. You are part of a very special film. Were there times when you were creating this movie that you thought, the stars are aligned here. I'm making something really special. I mean, I guess that sort of speaks to, did you ever imagine it'd be lasting as long as it did? But were there moments on set where you thought, this is something bigger than me?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think that ever came to mind. We were so focused on working. However, the fact that the movie had such an interesting look to it, and the wardrobe was so different than what everybody else was doing in the 80s, and the music and the sets, we did know that it was a quality product, even though it was low budget. So
Mhm.
we did feel special being with each other, and there was a lot of great energy on the set. So yeah, at the time we didn't pick up on anything. We just thought, okay, we're doing a movie, yay. Hopefully it's a big hit. You never know, but yeah, it was just lots of fun on the set. That didn't come to mind.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
You talk about the set. So obviously in the movie you've got you got the cemetery, you've got the warehouse where Bert is, and you've got the crematorium across the way. How close actually were they all together,
They
or was it built?
all they were all in different places. So the scene where the punks are first walking, that
Yeah.
was by the warehouse. So it's just down the street from the warehouse, not far where the train tracks are. Yeah, like 2 blocks, I think. The cemetery was up north about 40 minutes up the 5 freeway, which you don't know, but up north. And then the warehouse interiors, the stages where we worked, that was all just down the street from my house here in Burbank. So that was an easy get to. So yeah, not too far away. Not
Mhm.
like you have to go to, Miami or something to film, but local in Los Angeles, but about 45 minutes, this way or that.
Well, it comes together so well. I mean, that's a fantastic question, Ben, because when you watch the film, it does seem like they're all right there. In fact, I
Right.
rewatched it recently, and when you pull up to the warehouse, I was looking around. I was like, well, "Where's the cemetery?" And then a few moments later, they're like, "Well, let's go in the cemetery." So it's interesting that they actually weren't all right next to each other, but were
Yeah.
spread out.
Isn't that
Um,
wild? Editing is
Absolutely,
so well done.
editing magic, right?
Yeah. And design work, production design work.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Big,
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like getting the role of Tina? What the
yeah.
casting process was like? You probably
Yeah,
get
that
that
was
a lot, but go
yeah,
ahead.
no, it's a good question. We all had such a wild experience. We all first your agent calls you every day or every other day and says, "Oh, you've got interviews here, 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 and there." And so I got that. They called and said, "Hey, you've got an interview for a movie. Go meet with Stanzi Stokes, the casting director." And met with her, and that first interview went really well. And then we had a lot of interviews on this film. Normally, it's not that many. Commercial, you might have to do a few. But this went on, and then we finally screen tested, and then they grouped us together. It was a lot. And so
Mm.
this one was much more than most. And then I remember I was doing the screen test, and the producer, Graham Henderson, he's like, I don't know, 6'4". He's this huge guy. And they had him pretend to be Freddie. So he was sprawled out on the floor, and it was the scene from the chapel. So it's like I'm crying, "Oh, Freddie,
Yes.
Freddie," this massive man. It was hilarious, but it worked. I got it. So I was
Yes. Yes.
relieved.
Well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank
Yes.
you. It was
With sorry, no, I was going to ask because the sets were amazing. The lighting and the colouring, and everything on the film was brilliant and delivered. But obviously, the characters do a lot for the movie as well as the special effects and the practical. I was going to ask how effective when you was filming it was the Tarman, and how like what's the word I'm looking for?
did,
Yeah, I want to say scary. Really,
yeah.
how scary
Scary.
was it
Yes.
filming
Yeah.
with? And
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, this the sets played a really important role because the sets were really great. I mean, sometimes,
Mhm.
they started now doing that dumb CGI stuff. Um, but the sets on this were so believable. And for the tar man, they kept a sheet up. They didn't want me to see the tar man.
all
And
right, cool.
so the whole time I came out, and when they revealed and they pulled the sheet down, and that's when you got that zoom, that backup zoom or forwards, take on the
Mhm.
camera. And but
Mhm.
in my head, I was just thinking, "Oh my gosh, he looks so great," because I didn't see the costume before that. I had no idea what Tarman was going to be. I mean, I saw some sketches that William Stout had done in his office. But he was shockingly fantastic, and to me, he was not scary because I was just so excited to see him. So, I had to fake it.
Yeah.
I had to fake that. Oh my God, he's, terrifying. I loved him. I loved him. He was gorgeous.
The only reason I ask is because this movie has obviously I first watched it when I was quite young, so it was funny, it was scary at the same time, and I just wondered how you reacted to that because you was all quite young at the time as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it wasn't scary. It was more of just like being at work. You just were doing at work,
yeah,
doing your thing. But they did try to do that with the sheet, which was very, very nice, very fun of them. But yeah, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference in my reaction to him. But I
okay,
still loved it. I still love that they did that. It was cute.
Yeah. Oh,
Thoughtful.
that's awesome. Now, speaking of some of those scenes, like when you meet Tarman and in the final act of the film, you have to do a lot of screaming. What was that like? And did you lose your voice at all? Or are you a true professional? You can scream for hours on end
No, yeah, there was a lot of crying and a lot of screaming.
and a lot of crying.
And
Yes.
the crying was the hardest part. Yeah, you got tired of screaming and going, "Freddie, Freddie, Freddie, Freddie." It's a high,
Mhm.
high thing. Um, but the crying was actually the hardest because my eyes, when we were up in the attic, and Don, when Freddie's coming up in the final scene, the my tears, no tears. I just was like tired from crying. I had nothing in me. And so Don helped me through that scene. He gave me some music. He goes, "Honey, listen to this. This is going to help you. This is going to help get those tears going." Because they were blowing peppermint in my face, everything they could
Oh
to
my
get,
gosh.
yeah, eye drops. It was pretty crazy. My eyes were just really dry at that point. So, but it worked. We got past it. That was harder than the
Yes.
screaming.
Yeah, so there's one scene when they carry you out of the chapel and put you on the couch in the crematorium, and you're just sitting there crying. And when I rewatched recently, I thought, wow, that's a lot of crying that she has to do here.
Oh.
And I just want to say that you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. Well, they were really nice about that. When I had to have a crying scene, Dan, I just remember this. I'm so glad you brought this question up because he had the whole set go quiet. And because normally there's a little buzz going here and there, and nobody
Mhm.
moved an inch. And Dan said, "Okay, Beverly." So I just go off for just like a minute and just focus on what I see now. It's already going to make me cry. Focus on what I have to do and come back. And then I just sat down and he said, "Go," roll it.
Mhm.
And then I knew I had to cry and I was ready for it. So that was I forgot that. That was a really great thing for
Oh,
him to do.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, there was a lot of rain in this film. I'm just wondering how many hours or days was actually spent filming. I'll take it. It was a rain uh, machine of some
Like a
sort.
rain
That's
machine. Yeah.
You guys are asking the best questions. Oh my God, the rain. We, so we go up to the warehouse, I mean the cemetery to start all of the rain and all of that. And it was the middle of the night and it was cold. And then they just get ready, here comes the rain. And this cold rain just comes down on you, and we're just all shaking and freezing. And it goes all night long. They set up a couple of heat lamps so you could stand under them, but you're dripping wet and you're miserable as I want to curse right now. You're so miserable. And
Yes.
it just keeps going on and on and on. So finally you think, okay, we're in the warehouse. It's going to be a lot better. It's not going to be so bad anymore. And what do? They take us outside and they hose us down with cold water and pack on the dirt to make it look like we just came running in.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
they put up the heat lamps and we stood in those, just shaking and freezing. It was a miserable shoot.
Oh my
As
gosh. Yes.
as great as it was really yucky to be moistened down and have dirt packed on you, and you just had to be like that for weeks. It was weeks, and that was pretty hard. We all have horrible memories of all of that. But yeah, it was the cemetery. I can't remember how long we shot up there. It might have been a couple of nights, but all of the other stuff again, you had to be wetted down. So it's still,
Uh, When you get inside out of the rain, I will say that it seemed cold even though you were inside. So
yeah.
how you were really feeling on set comes across in the film because you all looked very cold.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It worked.
Well, you talked a little bit about the challenges with the crying and the screaming. What would you say was the biggest challenge with making the film? And what would you say on the flip side was the most rewarding aspect of working on this classic horror movie?
Yeah, well, let's start with most rewarding because just doing what we're doing now, and people remembering and going to conventions, it's so rewarding. People come up and they tell you, "Oh my gosh, I love that movie," and "Oh, I loved you in it." And we're all just sitting there. I mean, we've all been friends for a very long time. And
Mhm.
that's one of the things that's also most rewarding is that we're friends. We're together and we're still working together. And that's kind of a unique situation.
Mhm.
The part that was probably the worst was Dan was a little hard on me, and we had a little thing happen before we started filming. And I was young, I was much younger than the rest of the cast, and he had me come to his house, and it was a uncomfortable situation. And I hollered and I took off running. I go, "I'm so sorry, I forgot I have another appointment." I dashed out of his house, and from then on, he made it pretty difficult for me. So that was hard. I was always terrified of Dan. So that was hard. That was rough. And
Oh
like
gosh.
the
Yeah.
scene where I fell down in the mud, he had me do that so many times just because. I remember him scooting his chair up. There's one of my family members calling. He I remember him coming up. I'm killing it. And
It's
pushing
okay.
the chair up closer. He goes, "All right, have her do that again. All right, let's have her do that one more time." I must have done that scene, I want to say 15 times. And finally, at the end, you'll see they took the scene where you see me just hanging, and Miguel and Brian are just picking me up and dragging me off because I couldn't get up
Yes.
anymore. I was just done. And then he also replaced the step with a fake step when I'm running from Tarman, and he didn't tell me. So I ran, and I heard the whole crew kind of
Oh my
grumbling.
God.
Yeah, and they all knew what was happening and they didn't agree with it. And they were just kind of going, oh my God. And I couldn't understand what was going on. It's okay, let's get this going. And so I ran up, crashed down through the steps, hit the concrete. And yeah, I know. I was black and blue from my hip down to my ankle. Nothing sprained or broke. I mean, I got up and I was hurting. I think you can see when I get up, I was like, hard to get up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was not very nice to me.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I know.
Horrible, isn't
So
it?
that was the worst of it. But that aside, that was a long time ago. But it made me so
Yeah.
fearful of working again under a director. I was always terrified at that point. Every time I had an interview, I was terrified. So I'm over it now.
Oh,
I grew up.
good. Well, let's focus on the friendships that came out of it because
That's it.
that's awesome. All these years later, that you're still friends and still connected and get to have reunions every time you go to these conventions.
Yeah, we have a lot of them this year. A lot of reunions because it's our 40th. So we've
Yes.
got, it's like my phone's right here. We have running texts all the time. It's like, Linnea, what time is your flight? And everybody's checking in with everybody. It's like we just are constantly texting as a group. I think the guys might get tired of it, but we just,
You can always turn
yeah,
off the notifications,
yeah,
right?
they can
Well,
turn it.
well,
Yeah.
I do want to ask about the conventions, but Ben, I cut you off. I think you were going to jump in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Obviously, scenes and scenes that deliver is the opening scene, and when it comes up with the text that it was all based on a true story
Yeah.
and everything. Um, which to me, when I was younger, obviously you still didn't because it was only a VHS then. You didn't really know much of
Mhm.
what really went on in like filming and stuff. So obviously I believed it when I was young. I was like, wow, it's obviously to the extent of I'm not really sure, but do you still get asked now if any? Like, do they say, "Oh, do you know if any of it's based on true stuff, or
Well,
is everyone pretty
yeah, a lot
savvy?"
of people love that. They think that
Yeah.
some people think it's real. They do. They just, they think
Mhm.
that this really did
Oh,
happen. And some people, yeah, I know the spot in Kentucky where it happened. They do that. And they go, I know where you shot the scene in Kentucky for that one. Is that where it really took place? And we have to kind of go, oh, well,
Oh,
no, we filmed it in Los Angeles. And, I don't think this really, I mean, it could have happened, but it wasn't a part of the story.
okay,
yes,
brilliant.
yes.
So it's
And it's
just,
funny that, go ahead.
no, just it's yeah, just some people believe, just like in real life. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
Yes.
was good. It's just, I always thought it was done a fantastic job of. Obviously, it starts off saying it's true, then it'll give you some comedy, then it drops you back where um,
Mhm.
they're having a conversation at the desk in the warehouse and he's on about the bodies and it goes serious. Then they give a bit and it's just brilliant. It's like up and down throughout the whole film and it just delivers so well.
yeah. Dan did a great
Yes.
job, I think. Yeah, great
Yeah.
job with the directing and the writing, and he wrote Alien. He's got quite a resume, so
Mhm.
yeah, I guess he knew what he wanted. He got what he wanted.
We're definitely
Yes.
delivered.
Yeah, he delivered. He sure did.
And I love that it says all the names are real too, and especially when you think of some of the names like Trash and um,
Yeah.
Guys. I mean, I know those are nicknames.
Bert and Ernie.
Well, what was that?
Yeah, that's
Bert and Ernie.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Too
Yeah.
funny. Too funny. You mentioned conventions. Can you say a little bit about what conventions you will be appearing at for those
Yeah, I
watching?
might I might get in a pinch of trouble because we haven't been announced. Oh, I think we're okay. We have
Okay.
Monster Mania in March. July we have Phoenix, Days of the Dead. September Kentucky, no, CT HorrorCon in Hartford, Connecticut. Spooky no,
Excellent.
not Empire, Scarefest in
Hmm.
Lexington, Kentucky. And then I think we've got a couple more in November and December, which I don't think I can tell those yet. I don't think we've
Okay.
been
Okay.
announced. But yeah,
Well,
we got a
hopefully
whole
you'll make it to Massachusetts, although Connecticut's pretty close. And I know Ben would love to get to a
yeah.
convention in the UK too, if that
yeah.
ever happens.
Yeah. I was gonna go to one last year in the UK. Can't remember the name of it. But I didn't make it because I have two puppies and my husband had to work and it was a thing, so I had to cancel. But we'll get
Oh,
there.
too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That'd be awesome.
maybe this year. We do have some viewer questions, so we can jump into that. But Ben, did you want to ask anything else, or we can go right into?
Go for it.
All right. So the first one is from Craig D from Horror Hockey Forever. When working on Death House, what horror icon were you most excited to work with? And did you get a chance to spend any time with Gunnar Hansen from
No,
Texas Chainsaw
not.
Massacre?
I did not get
Okay.
to meet Gunnar. And then all the people that I worked with that day were all friends of mine, and they are my heroes. It's like Felissa, Sean,
Hmm.
Whalen. Who else was there? I think Bill Mosley was there. So yeah, it was, they're all my heroes. They were all great to work. Oh, Barbara Crampton was there. I love
Oh,
her.
cool.
So yeah, it was really fun. I just saw her at the last convention last weekend, and she's just lovely. I like them all so much. So
That's
all of
amazing.
them.
You
Yeah.
just listed so many horror legends in one sentence, including yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Great.
Ben,
Um,
do you want to take the next one?
this is sorry, I haven't got my glasses. This is from Our Loaf in Horror, and it says, "Oh, what was it like working with Linnea Quigley?"
Oh gosh. I love Linnea. She was great to work with. She was an incredible trooper. She had to be naked, and God bless her. It didn't um she didn't react to it at all. She just took her clothes off and did her job. She was just magnificent. And I remember that the extras were kind of grabbing at her a little hard, on her body, and but she still took it so well. And
Yeah,
when she was painted all white, she sat in the producers. It wasn't a Jaguar. It was like a Jaguar, but it's a UK car, beautiful car, and ruined the seats of his car because he said, "Get into the car and stay warm." Because, again, we were freezing and dripping wet, and she was completely naked. And get in the car, and just the white stained his seats. It was just like, oh my goodness. But
Oh no.
yeah, she's wonderful. She's just so professional and so lovely and just down to earth. So yeah, great work, buddy, and great
Oh,
friend.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see. This is from Mario Cerrito. He is the director of the Human Hibachi films. And he said, oh, Ben, I think I skipped one, but you can take the one right before it. He said, what type of kill is your favorite in horror movies? And is there a kill you wish was done more in horror?
Oh, that's a good question. Um,
Oh, that's
I'm not
tough. I think.
really big on the blood and guts of it. I don't like to
Mhm.
see I like more of evil movies or possession or like the Omen, that old Omen movie. Just like always I always think of that one. Um
Yes.
More kills. I think uh, 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 I think I maybe like heads chopping off and maybe I'll tell you this. I like it when they make it. They don't do the CGI when it's real. So I think that
Hmm.
they should always not do CGI. They should always make this and cut off the head and make it look very real. So probably more of that, more of real work, handwork,
Yes.
handiwork
Less
and
CGI.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
what would I like to see more of? Just swords. Swords scare the heck out of me. Knives and swords, terrifying for me. It's like I saw a movie that they say that it was based in Japan, and I know they don't have guns, I think, in Japan. And it's like all of the knife work. Oh my God, it was terrifying. Terrifying. That would be for me. So they should do more of that, I
Oh,
think.
cool. Yeah.
That
I
would
love
be
that.
cool. Chasing
That's a
with
great
knives.
answer.
Yeah.
Great question too, Mario.
Yeah, great question, Mario. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, this is from Mike Freeman 77. This is two questions. The first is, what's the best approach as an actress to take to being a zombie victim?
What does it take to be a zombie victim?
What's the best approach in
Best
for
approach.
an actress? Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is just my standard answer because it covers everything. You have to believe what's happening to you is happening to you. That's it. That's it. That's acting. You have to believe that that zombie is going to eat you and kill you, and you have to know in your heart you're going to die. It's just that it's like that simple. It really is. People take classes forever and ever and ever to fine tune their skill, and I get that because you want to project a certain personality or a look while you're doing it or something like that. But if people aren't going to believe what just happened to you, then your classes. So I believe you have to just know in your heart that like Freddy. Freddy is dying, and we're all
Hmm.
gonna die or maybe get out, and just all that has to go through your head the whole time. You just have to believe what you're doing.
Cool.
That's great advice.
Second part is he says, uh, "We know you're a licensed pilot. What's scarier, flying a single engine plane or facing 10 hungry zombies?"
That's a great question. I would be more fearful of the zombies because flying is lovely. Flying is beautiful. Flying is easier than driving a car. There's nobody up there. It's just, you take off and you look around and you land. It's beautiful. So yeah, definitely the flying is much easier than the zombie fighting.
Oh, that's
Cool.
so cool. Well, thank you to our viewers who gave in the questions, and thank you, Beverly, for answering them. So our last part, which I told you before we started recording, is our this or that segment, where we ask you two things, and you just pick one or the other. No pressure and no right or wrong answer in most cases. So I will kick it off, and we tried to put in some zombie themed items here, but we'll see if we did a good job or not.
I love
Um,
this.
the first one is Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead.
And I've not seen either one. So I know. I'm not good with horror movies. That's terrible. But
Oh
yeah, I
gosh,
like Dawn of
we'll
the
see how
Dead.
this goes.
Yeah,
Okay, Dawn of the Dead. Good answer.
Shauna.
Yes.
Or coffee.
Tea or coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really a good one. I guess I'll go with coffee.
Cheers.
Cool.
I got coffee
Yeah.
right here.
Coffee.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
I love
hopefully you've
tea.
seen.
Yeah.
I do love tea. That's tough. More zombies, Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland, if you've seen those
Oh, okay.
horror
Now, okay.
comedies. Now we're
I
talking.
Yes, Shaun of the Dead. Love it. Shaun of the Dead.
So funny.
I
Yes,
love the
I
actors
do
in
too.
that. Well, I love the
Yeah,
actors in the other one too, but Shaun of the Dead is my pick.
it's so good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, Leatherface or Michael Myers?
Oh gosh. Oh wow. Yeah, Leatherface is too scary. Michael Myers.
I love that. Let's see, beach resort vacation or city vacation?
Oh, beach. Yeah, heartbeat. Beach. Because I'm kind of
Yes.
in a city here, and
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
definitely. I'm going to
Okay.
New York and New Jersey. Beach. Best.
Beach. Good answer.
Return of the
Uh,
Living Dead Part 2 or Part 3?
Oh, look at you. Um, Looking it up. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with two, only because Marsha Dietland's in it. I love her. She's just a
mm,
sweetheart. So, and I know three was completely a different take. So I'm gonna go two. Two.
okay, good answer. Toby Hooper or Bob Clark?
I'm gonna get in trouble. Who's Bob Clark?
Oh, Black Christmas,
Oh,
1974, A Christmas Story, Look Who's
oh,
Talking, Children
wow.
Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Death Scream.
Wow.
I don't know if you're familiar with those films.
Yeah. All right. I mean, Toby Hooper, I should pick because he was supposed to direct Return of the Living Dead before Dan O'Bannon. That's who
I
I
don't know
should
if I
be
knew
picking.
that.
But I'm
Oh,
going to go with the other gentleman because I like his lineup. That's a quite a lineup.
Oh, excellent. Black Christmas, one of the best.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, good choice.
Evil Dead 1 or 2? I know you've not seen these, so just shout one out.
I'll start one. I always like the original. How's that?
Yep,
Yeah.
brilliant.
I haven't seen.
Perfect.
I haven't seen.
Here we go. Tarman or Zombie Bill Murray?
Oh, that's a good question. I have to go Tarman. Although I
Of
love Bill
course.
Murray, but I have to go Tarman.
Yes, yes. You know,
It's
we
my
were struggling a little bit with who's even on par with Tarman as far as like
yeah.
famous zombies. So anyway,
That's a
there you
that's
go.
a great question though. Yeah, Bill. Yeah, Bill Murray. Oh my gosh, right? He's so cool. But yeah, I have to go
Yes,
with my buddy.
of course, of course. All right,
Uh,
Ben, last one over to you.
we always end with this one. Jaws or Halloween?
Oh, Jaws. Jaws. 100 times over. Yeah, Jaws. Best movie. How can you? Yeah, right?
Now, can you
Great,
guess
great.
what Ben's favorite movie is?
Jaws. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
Halloween is
that
mine.
heck of
So
a movie. That's really, it was well made.
mhm.
It was gigantic. It was huge. Everybody loved Jaws. So it's not, I think Jaws covers everybody, where Halloween focuses more on the horror genre. So yeah,
Mhm.
definitely Jaws. Wow.
Yes, yes.
Brilliant.
Let's see. Well, we didn't get to ask you about Trash's Revenge. What can you tell us about
Oh,
the new, before we let you go, what can you tell us about the new movie?
yeah, they're doing a crowd funder right now, which I think had
Mhm.
already capped out, and then he's got other investors to do it. But the movie is going to be about Linnea, but the whole cast is in it. It's got musical aspects to it, and she's like this Norma Desmond type that goes back to Hollywood, but she's aged and she's not getting the attention that she wanted, and so she's going to take out her revenge. So Tom and I have a musical scene. Miguel Nunez and John Philbin, their scenes have just been expanded. So I'm really excited. I'm so hopeful and so looking forward to seeing what he does with this movie. It's really exciting.
That's
Was
awesome. So when you say a musical scene, will you be singing
Yes.
and dancing?
Yes. Well, I don't know about dancing. I know that Tom will be singing, and it's going to be a little show number, hopefully of some sort. And I might have a little glitzier outfit, but it'll be reminiscent of Tina. So from what I've been hearing, and then I think Trash might get her revenge on me.
Oh,
I know, I
that's
know. I can't wait.
fantastic.
And the other fun part is they're bringing back James, Karen, and Don Calfa, and everyone's freaking out about this, but I have to just push this down in everybody's head. It is going to be an AI thing. However, it's an ode to. It's not like they're going to be walking through the movie as themselves. It's just going to be like a wonderful little homage to them. So everyone
Hmm.
just, cool your jets. It's going to be really
Yeah.
good. It's going to be
Oh,
okay.
nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Nice.
very exciting. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and keep us updated because we'd love to have you back on and perhaps others involved with the film. We could do I
Mhm.
don't know. We could
Panel.
talk. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a
panel
panel on it.
Zoom video,
Wait. Yeah.
like a panel in Zoom. We could definitely make it happen. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Beverly. This was amazing chatting with you. You are an
Thank you.
absolute legend. We
You
were really
guys.
looking forward to this. And thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. And Ben, why don't I turn it over to you to do the closing?
Yeah, before that, I just say thank you to Beverly. It's been absolute pleasure. Amazing. It's one of my favourite films when I was younger. I just want to tell everyone, if you haven't seen this film, to watch it. It's funny, it's scary, it's got an amazing soundtrack. Look out for it. I just want to show this if you haven't seen it.
Is that
Definitely watch it.
what
I love the
version is that?
artwork.
Lovely.
This is, I'm not too
That's
sure. This is
cool.
like, this might be a
Okay.
special edition from a shop in
Nice.
England called Zavi. It's like a steel book. It's cool though.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
nice.
Well,
Um,
thank you guys.
yeah, you are very welcome. But definitely go and watch the film. Oh yeah, the closing out. Thank you for watching. Go to A&B Horror Movies. Check us out over there. Obviously, we're on YouTube, so if you are watching, thank you. Hit like, subscribe. It helps us. And thank you to everyone watching, and thank you to Beverly for coming on.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was so much fun.
Yes, agreed.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.